Hey, good morning, sports fans. Louis Diamond in our Las Vegas handicapping studios. You're watching Bettor Center, and it's another Sunday fun day. And I know you could be watching all those major networks giving out your picks, but we know they're not pros, guys, and you do too. And that's why you're here, because you know we got the goods. We've been coming with the goods for a good 2 months, and going to continue with it today. I like what I got today. And I'm going to see what a couple great handicappers are going to add to what I like, and that is Chip Chirimbus and Tony Gullidge. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Hey, good morning.
Thank you.
All right, so hopefully you guys have been having a decent weekend so far and picking up a little cash. How did you do yesterday, Tony?
Great day for the members. Our key plays, our best bet was an easy cash. We had Cincinnati, and then our three key releases were Iowa, Liberty, which both got home pretty cleanly, but we did lose with Clemson, so we went 3-1 with our top picks. So we had a pretty damn good day.
Yeah, but you actually went out there and said, you know what, maybe even a little money line on this.
I'll be honest, Lou, that
Flames.
game just set up perfectly for a huge underdog. Liberty running a clean offense that basically sucked the life out of the ball, and they did it perfectly yesterday. They were basically coming up to the line after snaps, milking the play clock down to 1 and 2 seconds. I love the way they did it, too, because they would rush up to the line to prevent Virginia from substituting. So they made those same defensive players stay on the field, and this made them stand there for 35 seconds before they snapped it. And Liberty did a great job. Crazy finish. They tried to win the game with a 59-yard field goal with 8 seconds left. It's blocked. Virginia Tech runs it back for a touchdown, but Virginia Tech had called a timeout just before the snap. So Liberty, instead of trying that again, had 8 seconds. They run a quick play for like 8 yards, get out of bounds with 3 seconds left, and then kick the 51-yard field goal at the buzzer. It was a great game to watch, and Liberty stood up strong and got a straight-up win.
Yeah. Huge fat underdog on the money line. Obviously, we both had Liberty. We've been talking about Liberty all season. Hopefully, the viewers took advantage of it yesterday, cashed in, and maybe even cashed in on a little bit of money line. They took some balls. I didn't play it, but I love talking that you said it. I'll tell you that. How'd you do yesterday, Chip? How's your weekend start?
Well, the weekend started great on Friday night. We hit 2 out of 3. But, Lou, yesterday was my first losing Saturday in 2 months. After 8 straight winning Saturdays, I went 1 and 3 yesterday. Did not do well at all. Iowa was my only winner. I don't even want to talk about anything else. Let's move on to the pros. It's tough to get your head off the pillow when you have that kind of day, but I'm ready to go today.
All right, Chip. Well, appreciate you being honest about it. And, that's all I can tell you. It's nice to see some integrity being displayed.
Chip will bounce right back.
Who did?
I said Chip will bounce right back. I don't think anybody has any questions about that.
Yeah, I don't have any question on that. So sorry to ask you how you did yesterday, but you know what? It is what it is. As you know,
it is what it is. Yeah,
and
it is
and
what
today
it is.
will, and it'll never be any different. Let's put it that way.
You know,
but
Louis, Louis, when we started the show, one of the first things we said was that nobody wins every day, and I guess I'm a perfect example.
Absolutely. And we're all perfect examples of that. And it'd be a shame it's really a shame when people expect miracle men. You know, we're just doing our homework, guys. You see, we're doing our homework. So let's get right to our homework for Sunday NFL football. And we'll start with the Lions and the Vikings. Matthew Stafford has been cleared to play. And right now we have Minnesota, 3.5-point favorite after the big win. There was a Super Bowl for them last week. They beat Green Bay. Now, the question is did that give them some life? I mean, they're 2-5. They're still cellar dwellers. They need this game. You know, do we want to lay that 3.5? You know me. I don't want to lay 3.5 in the NFL. I'll start with you, Chip. What do you think? Detroit, Minnesota, anything?
Well, I want to steal a little. Let's say Tony calls him Matthew Stafford. And that's exactly what it is. Detroit every single time gets out there and builds a lead and then folds in the final moments or when the game means something. Minnesota was a big win for us last week over Green Bay. They won outright as underdog. They are a juggernaut at home over the years. They have been, as a matter of fact, 28-11 against the points at home after a loss. So I think Minnesota would be the side here. Having to lay that would be terrible. But Detroit is a team that I just couldn't back. They just don't seem to get there. And yet they've won 3 games already this year, and I don't know how. I really don't. But
Right.
I think Minnesota's the side. I really do.
All right. Well, some numbers that will back that are real simple. Lions 5-13 against the spread. Their last 18 games overall. Patricia's he's another one that this is kind of a Super Bowl for them. He's not far from being fired. He has not been able to pull this team together. They are 4-10 as an underdog their last 14 games, and Minnesota. They're 4-1 their last 5 games against the spread. What do you think, Tony?
Yeah, Chip, no, I didn't know these numbers. I love the way you guys put out these numbers on the situations and then throw it to me because I just know Minnesota is a great home favorite, right? And that Detroit has been a terrible road dog. So you combine those. But I tell you what, the other handicapping situation I like to use, the Vikings off that huge win, right? And then Detroit also got crushed. So I'm basically at a quandary, and I agree somewhat with Chip that Minnesota would be the side to lean on, but I actually could not put a bet here. My gut couldn't take the Vikings because I know that huge win. I don't like this situation. And Detroit, I just couldn't palate as bad as they've been on the road. I just couldn't take them either. So I laid a pass with an opinion on the Vikings.
All right, a little opinion on the Vikings. Lions 0-5 the last 5 versus the Vikings. 4-9-2 the last 15 in Minnesota. But here's what you really kind of want to look at here is the under. 10-3 to the under the last 13 meetings, 7 straight unders in Minnesota. So I have to put a little bit of lean on the under in this matchup. I just have a tough time playing unders in the NFL right now, unless I'm in love. Certainly not in love. All right, next game on our schedule is actually going to be game 1 on our schedule, Eugene and Denise. Seattle is -3. They are at Buffalo. And got some nice weather in Buffalo today. Great day for football. And 2 football teams that seem like they're going to give us a great game of football. Tony, I'll start with you on this one. Buffalo and Seattle.
Yeah. Intriguing matchup. Seattle coming east for an early start. I know Buffalo with a great start to this season. Their offense clicked in a couple games. However, here most recently, their ability to put up points has been held back, right? I think it was 16, 17, 18, and 24 in their last 4. So they're averaging a little under 20 points their last 4 when they were averaging over 30 their first 4. Seattle offensively has been a machine. I don't know any other way to put it. 34 points a game right now, leading the league. They lead the league in yardage. Not really perfectly balanced, but enough running at 125 yards a game. It definitely will keep people honest. Defensively, they're horrible, right? I mean, when you watch them, they give up a ton of passing yards, but I will say that I think a lot of those passing yards they give up are because the teams are behind and trying to catch up to them. That was definitely a few of the games, but there have been some tighter games that Seattle's played. Handicapping wise, I really like Seattle in this game. So what I did was I tried to go through and find reasons not to take them. This is one of my ways I like to do it. So when I feel like a team is good in a spot, I'm trying to find ways to talk myself out of it. But I really couldn't find it here. Wilson, I just think Buffalo's offense of late has not been producing at the way they're going to need to produce. Seattle's putting up the points every single game against it doesn't matter who they're playing. So if I view Buffalo as a little bit slow on the offense, I'm going to play the obvious here. I'm taking Seattle to get the win at Buffalo today.
All right, a lot of love for Seattle out there today. Lots of love. Usually when that happens, Buffalo shows up. What do you think, Chip?
I think Buffalo's ready to show up. At the beginning of the year, we were looking at the Bills as if they were going to run away with the AFC East. They're playing great football. And then the last 4 games, they haven't covered any of them. They've gone 2-2, but they haven't covered, and they really haven't looked good. Their defense, which was a great stop unit at one time, is now middle of the road. They haven't quite got there. They are a beneficiary of 11 turnovers so far this season. But this Seattle team has a habit, like Tony said, of going back east and winning. You know, we used to have a formula here where teams that played from on the West Coast, when they came to the East Coast and they played those early games, there was a go against. You'd fade them every time out. Last year, Seattle was 4-0 coming back east. They've already come so they're a tough club because this Russell Wilson is just unbelievable. Their defense is ranked last, and yet they're 6-2, 6-1 as a matter of fact, 5-2 against the number, because of the efficiency of their quarterback. This Russell Wilson, for me, he's just so tough to get by. We spoke about this before. On the road, Seattle's 13-5-1, so they travel really well. I mean, they're very well coached. We're aware of that, and their quarterback just is so efficient, doesn't make mistakes. Buffalo 3-8 at home, and their last 11 games when an underdog. Guess what? I'm going to take the Bills here. I got Buffalo.
That's
why I was 1-4 yesterday. That's why I was 1-4 yesterday.
I like it. Hey, you know what? I'm just going to throw this out there for you for Buffalo. That's my other handicapping angle. I didn't have my note in front of my face. That this is the second of back-to-back home games after they had a huge emotional win against a team that had their daddy for a decade. So they beat New England last week. I just think it's a soft spot on the schedule for Buffalo. But, you know, Chip makes a great point. A lot of times when you can line up the stars in one direction, the best thing you can do is turn the boat around and go the other way. So I feel where he's going on this one.
Yeah, I feel it as well. You know, it would be a plug your nose, bet Buffalo kind of game. But why plug your nose? There's an easy play here, guys. The game's going over. It's just going over. 6 straight overs. Look at, just look at these teams. Look at these defenses right now. Get on the over. Make some money, guys. Get on the over. Not much I need to tell you about that. I mean, you know the numbers are there. And why not? Why not? That's all I can say. All right, let's get on to our next game. Denver at Atlanta. Denver, what a win last week. And they're going to be able to go to the East Coast and, you know, actually pull something off. I mean, I know Atlanta's bad, but, you know, how are you going to, I mean, after a win like that, Atlanta's -4, though. Who the hell wants to lay 4 in that game? So if you don't have much, guys, let me know. But if you got something, I'm listening. I'll start with you, Tony. What do you got?
Yeah, Atlanta, winners 2 of their last 3 games, with that loss being almost a strategical blunder to allow Denver to come back and win. I think that was Detroit, 23-22. The strategical blunder from Atlanta allowed Detroit. They should have milked the clock and kicked a field goal on the last play, but they didn't. I think we recall that was a couple of weeks ago. So Atlanta's playing a lot better to the eye, especially. Got Julio Jones back. That makes a difference for them offensively. Denver, like I say, 21 points in the fourth quarter to come back and get the win last week. You're not going to get that very often. I think that's played some into the line. I'm still not sold on Denver. I know they've had the big win at New England. Got crushed by Kansas City. I was on that one. I'm going to play Atlanta here. I think this is a good spot on the schedule. I think the line being over a field goal is telling you something. Like I think Chip likes to point that out. You go where the line tells you to go. And for me, I think the line is telling me to take Atlanta here today. So that's my play. I'm taking Atlanta.
All righty. A little Atlanta love for Tony G. And let's see what Chippy C got going on. Chippy, anything?
Well, not my type of game at all. I thought it very fortunate to pull out a Denver win last week over the Chargers. And it's Atlanta club. Boy, I'll tell you, they put up a lot of passing yards. We've seen that, but they don't stop anybody. And we've seen that as well. I think Denver's got more heart. I think Denver has more grit, and I think Denver has more character. If I was to play this game, which I'm not, and I didn't even consider writing it up or analyzing it, I looked at it, and for me, it was just a dead spot. But I would take the Broncos.
I'll agree with you on that, Chip. I don't like the game in any way, shape, or form, but 2 bad teams. I'll just grab the 4 points if I were to play it. But Actually, I did play Denver on a money line in a parlay and all that in the beginning of the week. But small little action. That money line parlay stuff that I was telling you about, I have Denver in that today. But certainly can't lay the points with Atlanta. Shit game. Move on. All right, and so we'll move on to a game that could be interesting. And the Chicago Bears are going to the Tennessee Titans. And the Titans, they screwed up too. They had a chance, and they blew it. Now they got the Bears coming in, and I think a lot of people are still undecided with these Bears. But Nick Foles, I mean, he's a Super Bowl quarterback. He's not making a lot of mistakes. So, and he's getting some points here today. I mean, almost a touchdown's worth. So, Chip, anything with this play here?
Well, I didn't use this game, but I think what you mentioned and what you're trying to say is that this is I think it's a strong line. It's a high line, Tennessee, up to 6.5. The Bears have been playing really tough. We saw them come from behind. They had a chance to beat New Orleans last week. They fell short, but they did cover. Chicago doesn't move the ball at all. They're 29th in the NFL in offense, Lou, and they're averaging only 85 yards rushing. They've only covered 3 of their last 10 on the road, and that's why I think this number's been inflated against a team that's dropped 2 in a row. We were fortunate enough to have Cincinnati against Tennessee last week, and they really throttled them. They handled them easily. Tennessee's averaging 405 yards a game. They have that top running game. Problem is they're 1-5 in their last 6 as favorites. And to tell you the truth, I'm not a big favorites guy, but I would lay this rather than take it here. I think the Chicago offense is really inept, and the Titans really need to rally their forces here after 2 straight losses. I'm not using this game, but I would have a lean toward the Titans.
I tend to agree with you here. I don't want to lay them points, but I think this is where Chicago gets exposed. I do believe the Titans are definitely playoff caliber, a good, solid NFL football team. I'm yet to be sold on the Bears yet. How about you, Tony? You sold on them Bears, or what do you think?
Gentlemen, shall we agree to disagree here? I'm going to play the Bears in this spot. What I like about the Bears, they're 3-1 on the road, right? They lost that game at the Rams, which I fortunately almost called the exact score of. Tennessee's not impressed me, and I'll harken back to this 3 third down conversion. Chicago's defense is number 1 in the NFL defensively, stopping teams on third down. Tennessee on defense, third down, is dead last in the NFL, which means they can't get teams off the field. That's what happened to them with Cincinnati. I think every one of us was on that. I lost Cincinnati last week. This is one of those situations where I think if Tennessee is going to win this game, it's going to be something that's going to happen right at the end. I think that 6.5 is going to be safe. I feel good taking it. My other little handicapping toolbox angles that I try to go with point to the Bears in this spot. Like I say, it almost is tempting you to take Tennessee, and that's pretty much why I'm going to play Chicago. I think I feel good with a defense that can get teams off the field. So, again, look for a grinding game, kind of like that Rams game. But I think the defense for the Bears shows up a little better here. And in my case, I believe the Bears, I don't want to say outright win. That would be not quite right. But let's say the 6.5 points should be more than enough. Play the Bears here. That's my play in this game, Lou.
Okay. All right. That is an interesting third down stat that you did deliver there. So that does make it look appealing, no doubt. And the points do seem to be a little high, which is why I just think that for some reason Bears may get exposed. But we're going to find out here today. We shall agree to disagree, but you got a strong play there. And I'm just feeling a little vibe, and I believe Chip was as well. So, all right, so let's move on to our next game. Baltimore is at Indy. A lot of movement on Indy. Baltimore opens up at 3, and now they are -1. Well, actually, let me get a fresh line. Baltimore opens up at 4. Now they're -1. I actually got a Colts -1 right now at Pinnacle. I don't mind promoting that book. Quality book. And total is 44. Lamar not getting much respect. What's going on? Chip, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking that he may have possibly been exposed. You know, every big time defense he's gone against has shut him down. We know he's been pretty inaccurate as a passer. 1,200 yards on the ground last year had the Ravens as a leading rushing team. But what happens when your leading rusher is a quarterback and you shut him down? Now, his passing can't make up the difference. They are 31st in passing yards in the NFL. And, you know, there's an interesting anomaly about these two going head to head, Baltimore and Indianapolis. You know, we have some history between these clubs stealing off in the night and changing locations. But Baltimore has beaten Indianapolis has beaten Baltimore 10 of the last 11 times they played. And that's to the number. So that's kind of an interesting stat. And also, I can tell you that the under between these two teams has been good 11 of the last 12 games. Louis, that's right up your alley. I think that Indy may have Baltimore's number because they have the number 2 defense coming in. If they can shut down a quarterback who I consider a great football player, but as a quarterback, I think he's a hoax. He may be the MVP, but Baltimore, the Ravens are like the Yankees in baseball. They were built for the home run derby. Baltimore was built to grind it out during the regular season, but against the quality teams, I just don't think they can get there. I'm going to take Indy here.
All right, a little Frank Reich love there today. And I do love Frank Reich. Good guy, real good guy. Love to see him do well. Tony, you agree with Chip here?
Tell you what, I feel like this game, 80s sitcom, Ted Knight, Too Close for Comfort. You know, his 2 daugers with the roommate Monroe. Maybe I'm the only guy that remembers that show, but it's pretty funny.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
With that being said, this to me feels a little too close for comfort. I agree with what Chip said on a couple fronts. For me, it came down to whether I'm going to trust Indy, and I just couldn't pull the trigger. I have a couple little innuendo parts that I just don't like them. Everything about Lamar Jackson's correct. I don't view him as an elite quarterback. I view him as an elite athlete in this league that can make plays, but can he produce when the pressure's on and he's got to get it done? I think I really question that in him. So the Colts home defense, I mean, we bring up those numbers with the defense for the Colts. For me, I just couldn't pull the trigger. And again, a lean, and I agree with Chip. I don't know if he likes that or not, but a lean toward the Colts at home. And they have on, it's a team for the course. And Chip's beat me to all the punches here. They've owned this team since they left town in the middle of the night in a Mayflower truck. They've owned them. So, yeah, I'm going to go with an opinion on the Colts.
All right. Something to consider for those with their opinion on the Colts. 9 straight outright wins on the road for the Baltimore Ravens. Interesting. Very interesting. I got to kind of just pass on the game. I have a tough time to give up on them Ravens just yet and go all in with these Colts just yet. I think this is a big deciding game. So we're going to find out who's who. It's going to be a good game. All right, let's hit the next game on the schedule and see what you guys are thinking with the Carolina Panthers at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs 10-point favorite. Not too much movement on them Chiefs. Usually they get the steam. And the total went from 49 just to 51.5. I don't know. It smells a little over to me. What are you guys thinking? Yeah, go ahead, Tony.
To say Carolina Panthers supposed to get Christian McCaffrey back in the lineup today. I'm not just sure how much is that going to help with this team. They haven't been able to run the ball. Offensive line doesn't create a ton of space up front. So most of their offensive yardage running is on kind of a misdirection, kind of get them going one way and pick up a few yards the other. It's not a forward rushing attack like you would typically see in the NFL. I'm going to be honest here. I don't know if the Carolina offense is, here lately generating 23-16. The best performance they had was at the at the Saints here of late in the loss. But I'll note that the Saints defense at times just isn't up to snuff. Kansas City, I'm going to be honest here. I'm just going to play the Chiefs. Every trend I've got, every statistical anomaly I've got, and also my power rating it almost looks too easy to me. It was tough. It was that made the decision a little more tough for me here, that it looked too easy. But upon consulting my inner self, I decided just to suck it up and play the Chiefs. I just think Carolina's going to struggle to keep pace on the points. Okay. And I've watched Bridgewater enough so far that he's a great manager. But when you look at it, if you're the Chiefs, cover Robbie Anderson, and you're probably going to shut down the offense because he's been Teddy's favorite target and he's been good. So you cover him, and then everything else is going to be very difficult for Carolina to move the ball. I like the Chiefs probably win by about 20. How about that? Chiefs by about 20 today.
All right, looking for a big Chiefs win here today. Chip, are you following suit?
I don't believe so. There's a couple of reasons I'm looking at Carolina. To start off, they played last Thursday, and they've had a few extra days to get ready, of course. And they were jobbed by the officials in that game. We had Atlanta. We were very happy to see what I saw. But I actually think that they are going to have a really focused attitude here. And I'll tell you what else bothers me about this game. Kansas City had the week off last week. Oh, excuse me. They played the Jets. So they had the week off, and they went through the motions, and they scored 35 points. And I think they're going to be up against a football team that's having their virtual only all-pro player returning. McCaffrey's coming back. That's why, Louis, maybe we saw that total jump up a couple of points, like you said, a few digits. And McCaffrey being back does add certainly a major plus to their running game, which Tony said is struggling. So I'd like Matt Rule as a coach there. I think that Kansas City's focus may not be as strong as it should be, having back-to-back games against imposters, particularly coming off of last week's games. That was a laugher. Never mind about the Jets, because they may go 0-16, but that's for another story. I'm going to take the winner here, Carolina Panthers.
Chip, going out there on that limb.
I'll take the points. I think it's double digit now, so I'll take the points with McCaffrey's return. I don't think this is a best bet, but we got to make it interesting. Tony beat me up yesterday. I'm trying to get back at him today.
Oh no.
Well, I will say this very quick and sweet about this game. Teaser. KC, tease him down. Tease the total down. You'll probably cash. Nothing to go to town on or anything like that, but it is definitely some action for you. All right, now let's go to a garbage game. And let's be quick about it so we can get some more games in. Houston at Jacksonville. I'm only going to this because I kind of think there might be a little value with Jacksonville. I know we got a new quarterback in there in his first start for Jacksonville, so got to be a little cautious. But I don't see how Houston lays 7 points on the road in a divisional game at this stage of the game. Does anybody agree or disagree, Tony?
I can't bet on Jacksonville. They're just it's the team that everybody's gotten healthy against, and I can't lay the touchdown with Houston, so I'm a pass. But I don't see how anybody could lay their money on Jacksonville right now. But I'm sure somebody is somewhere.
And I'm not somebody, but I'm not. I mean, it's a little something, because I do believe that too many points, and I'll probably throw them in a teaser, but certainly nothing big for me. Anything for you on this one, Chip?
No, this is a garbage game without doubt. Houston 1-6 as virtually a touchdown favorite. That's hard to figure out. Jacksonville's 1-6, but they are at home. Without Minshew, I guess, we've had a plethora of first-time starting quarterbacks, and they haven't fared very well. I mean, Tua came up with a win last week, but he had 91 yards passing, and he wasn't very efficient at all. This Jacksonville defense is 31st, allowing 424 yards a game, and Houston is 30th. So what am I going to expect here? And they have two inept offenses to go with it. So this is a pass all the way for me. I mean, if this was a bowl game, it'd be the NFL toilet bowl. I don't want any part of it.
All right. So let's just get to an exciting game, I think. The AFC West. It's going to be the Raiders and the Chargers. Raiders, big win last week on the road in Cleveland. Chargers, big loss last week. So now here's the real question. Is this the zigzag for the Chargers here today? So let's go to my zigzag man, Tony G. We zigging and zagging here today?
This is one of those where I think I've cashed 3 times in the NFL this year on this exact situation where a team is playing their second of 2 back-to-back road games and they won the first one, right? Raiders won 16-6 at Cleveland last week. This is the second of 2 straight road games. I always feel like that is where you get the most line value for a team on the road is after they win that first of 2 straight road games. For whatever reason, I can't explain it precisely, but I just know it's there. You get the value, and there's enough there for the the Chargers. They did what they dropped that crazy game. Yeah, they're the ones that got burnt by Denver last week. So yeah, I think that sets up bodes for me well. I'm going to take the Chargers, and basically it's a fade against the Raiders after the big win last week. So I like the Chargers here.
All right, a little love for the Chargers. I'm leaning on the over in this game, guys. I really think that a different year and a different time, I would always be betting something like this under, but I got to lean on the over. Chip, you got any leans on this game?
Yeah, I do. It's more than just a lean. I'm with Tony. If we were in a canoe, we'd be tipping over on the same side. And it goes back. It goes back to the history, like you said, Tony. Of the Raiders are 5-1 on the road, and this in their last 6 games. And the dog in this interaction between these two clubs is 17-5. So the fact that the Chargers are a small favorite here might give me a lean toward the Raiders when I give you those numbers, but I just can't do it. Under Herbert, the LA club hasn't won many games, but they've covered their spread. They're 5-2 against the number. He has them with the number 2 offense in the NFL with 417 yards a game. They just haven't been able to force any turnovers. They're 28th in the NFL there, and that has hurt their game. The under has been strong between these two, but it's different now. Herbert's there, and I think there's a different philosophy. This team likes to score and move the ball. They have to stop sometime as well. The last 10 meetings or the last 10 times that the Chargers have hosted anybody, 8 have gone under. But like I said, Herbert is the guy there now, and it's different. Even though all the stats come to the road dog and come to the Raiders here in the individual matchups, I'm going to take the home club here. I think the Chargers are in a good spot coming home, and I think they can beat the Raiders.
All right. So as I said, I'll be doing a little something with this game over here today. I think you're going to see a little bit of a wild game, and I think it's going to come down to whoever's got the ball last is going to wind up winning this game. So I have a tough to play aside unless I play a teaser, and I believe the teaser probably hits on both sides of this one today, guys. So a lot of these pick'em games. The teaser, maybe we'll get Ross to take a look into this. Pick'em game, those teasers on both sides. Usually it's a close game. We're gonna look into that. So, but I would say that the teaser on this game would probably be the play. Doesn't really matter what side you go. Let's get to the next. We got 3 more games. We'll get into them real quick. Steelers and Cowboys really didn't want to cover because it's supposed to be a big blowout. But there's some interesting stats in this game. I'll get to them in a minute. So, but Chip, you got anything here? Let's hit this game real quick. The Steelers are. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, no, not really. I got beat with the Cowboys last week when our rookie quarterback fumbled twice. Once was returned for 6 points the other way. And it really turned things around. We don't even know who's going to be quarterbacking for the Cowboys this time out. The idea that Pittsburgh is a 14-point favorite at Dallas or more is just – it blows me away because these two teams have been rivals throughout the history of the two clubs, or at least since Dallas joined the NFL in 1960. And 14 points at home, I have to just stay away from this game. I can't. There's really not so much I can say about it.
All right. I got a little total action with this, Tony, but I'm going to reserve it till after I hear what you got to say.
Yeah. Dallas became only the 3rd team to start a season 0-8 against the spread. No team has ever started 0-9. And every team that has started, there's been 9 teams that started a season 0-7 against the spread. The rest of the season, their games are 63% covering. I'm going to hold my nose. I'm with Chip there. I took them last week, and that crap that got burned with garbage, man. I had Dallas. I'm going to plug my nose and take them again. It could be Gary Hogaboom or Danny White starting. I mean, really, it's just plug in any nondescript generic. Really
All
like
right.
Dallas points, but did I cut off? Sorry.
You're
You
right.
did, but go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, play Dallas, hold your nose, take the Cowboys. Don't put a lot of money on it. It's a percentage play. I'm assuming they're going to start covering some numbers. I can't guarantee it's today, but take Dallas.
All right, so a little Dallas there. I can't plug my nose with Dallas here today, but that does seem to be the only way to roll. But I'll give you something to do with this game. This game's going to be an under. It's going to be an under. 15-5-1 for the last 20 games. Steelers on the turf to the under. 39-13-1 to the under. Their last 53 road games. But check this out. When the Steelers are on the road facing a team, okay, that throws the ball an average of 35 times or more per game, 23 straight unders. So at the end of the day, get yourself some under on this game. Definitely. How's Dallas going to score? Pittsburgh's more than likely going to be flat. I think you got a nice, solid under. So that being said, let's get over to the Dolphins and the Cardinals. And Cardinals open up 6. Now they're up to 7. So they're getting a little bit of love, and probably rightfully so. But you know me, I'm a Kyler Murray fan. And now we have a total of 49 and a rematch of the quarterbacks. Chip, what are you thinking?
Yeah, so the rematch from 2 years ago in the NCAA playoffs, and Kyler Murray was outshone by Tua in that game. Of course, Tua was fabulous. I think it was 24, 27, 300 yards, 4 TDs. But it's a different story now. Tua had his NFL debut last week, threw for a grand total of 91 yards. Miami's total in that offense gained 44 yards rushing, had 8 first downs, and they won the game by 3 touchdowns. What can you do? Special teams returning fumbles for touchdowns and kickoff and punt returns for touchdowns, and Miami scores the victory. I think the public may have become a little enamored with them coming into this week, and those points may look very generous. Kyle Murray in that championship game didn't throw very well. He ran for 109 yards when he was with Oklahoma. But it's a different story with him having a year under his belt right now. Arizona's an up-and-coming team. Louis, you called it from the very beginning of the season. 7-2-1 against the points in their last 9. Both quarterbacks will be wearing number 1, but only one team's going to come out on top, and that's Arizona.
All right, I like it. What about you, Tony?
Oh boy, we're going to tip this canoe over, Chip, if we don't. we keep getting on the same side here. Here's what I like about it. Quick note: Arizona last season, first year under Kingsbury, they had their bye week. They came out, got crushed. Okay. So there's been a lot of talk about, did he take it too easy on the guys last year and didn't use that off week to prepare for the next game. So you got that. Keep that in mind coming into this game. Cardinals had their bye week. I don't expect them to lay the egg they did last year because Kingsbury got criticized for that harshly. Got Arizona, won 3 straight games, scored 30 points in every game. 2 were on the road against chumps, but then they came home and got the job done against Seattle, which was a big win. Great win for them, and obviously is going to get the momentum going forward out there in the pretty tough NFC West. What can you say? Miami won big, but did nothing. Chip just nailed it, 90 yards. You look at the stats, you would think they got beat by 40 points. Honestly, you would look at that. If you stopped at where the turnovers, don't pay attention to anything below the yardage line, you would think they got crushed. Perfect setup, from the handicap. This game just, I love it, baby. So, yeah, I'm all over this game. Give me Arizona, lay the points. I think Miami's going to shit the bed here and get roasted. I like Arizona today.
All right. You know what, guys? I love what you're saying here because this is the one. This is the spot for Arizona. Miami, way too big a win for Tua in his first game for doing nothing. So they're high, and Arizona had plenty of time to see what's going on. It should be the blowout. You don't need to tease Arizona today. You need to hammer Arizona today, but you probably need to hammer the over too. I think the over's the play here as well. I don't think that game stays under. It's up to 49 now. No way it's going to stay under either. All right, so let's get to the last game on the board, and it's a doozy. It's a beautiful game tonight. We got some good games today, so hopefully we have some great football. Saints are at the Bucks. Antonio Brown is released to play. Does Brady release the Kraken again today? Or does Saints get a little bit of revenge? What was it, week 1? What do we got? Chip, what are you thinking on the Sunday night matchup?
I'm thinking that at the beginning of the year, we were talking about when these two had their matchup, about their ages of the quarterback, and are they going to slip? Have they fallen? Has their talents dropped any? And I think more people were looking at Brady to drop off than they were Breeze. And I think both of them are down a hair, and I think Breeze may be down just a little bit more. Brady seems to have gotten all the tools. Tampa Bay went out of their way, and they brought in people with talent that he can throw the ball to and hand the ball off to. And I think Tampa's in a good spot here. The number is going to be tough to cover, and I think the number is high. In other words, these two teams should be closer to a pick 'em. I'm going to take Tampa Bay. Maybe it's because I'm a Brady fan. Not that I don't like Drew Brees, but I just think that Tampa's in a spot here after having walked through their last game and had a few extra days. I like Tampa.
All right, a little love for Tommy Brady. Tony G, what do you got on the big quarterback matchup tonight?
Right. Definitely. Drew Brees, right, has got to be a little bit of slippage. He just won't throw the ball down the field anymore. I've watched his game. He's become the Alex Smith Deacon dunk master, 5 yards or even behind the line, basically not throwing the ball very far, like from the end of his fingertips to the receivers, like 10 yards, just basically just dumping it off. When it comes right down to it here in the handicapping spot, I'm going to end up taking the Saints. So we're safe on this one, Chip. We're on opposite ends of the canoe. We're not going to tip this pick over. And it is the point spread. It is the points here that is making me want to take New Orleans in this game. I see this setting up for your classic primetime drama-filled finish. This game comes right down to the bitter end. And if I'm behind and not covering, I like the fact that I got at least a competent quarterback that knows how to kind of use that clock to get down and get a greasy backdoor cover if needed. Or if Tampa's a tie game, they sit up and kick a winning field goal. Like I said, I feel this game's going to be very close, very competitive. And what you see is what you get with these guys. We know these teams, divisional rivalry. I really want to give the edge to Breeze here on the road in terms of the division, but with Brady it's so much different, right? 2020 is a lot different, but I'm going to play the Saints here on the road to get the cover and possibly get that win in a very exciting finish to week 9 tonight. I think it's going to be a great game.
I will be the rubber match decider here and agree with you, Tony.
Oh, no.
You know what? It's that 3.5, guys. Number one, I know it was 4.5. Now it's down to 3.5. I will not lay the 3.5 in the matchup that I believe will be exactly like you said, a tough, grinding matchup with some revenge for the underdog. So I am going to say the points have the value, the 3.5. I am definitely going to tell you the teaser on the New Orleans side is probably the better side of the teaser, just because you're getting a lot more points, and the total went from 56 down to 50. I don't care. These two quarterbacks, even though they may be fading, or Drew Brees may be fading a little bit, losing that arm strength, down to 50 from 56. I'm jumping on that over here, guys, but I'll probably tease on that one because that number has moved dramatically down to the under. Michael Thomas, I believe, will be in there today. So let's roll.
Michael Thomas is back tonight.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if Saints put some points on the board as well. So I will say Saints and the over, but probably on the teaser is going to be a lot safer, as always. So, all right, let's get to our most interesting play of the day, guys, and let's get these guys some solid winners because we've been providing the goods, guys. appreciate you sticking around and watching us. Let's give them some more goods. What do you got today in your most interesting play, Chip?
I think it has to go to the Colts and the Ravens, and possibly because of the history between the two franchises. Like you said, Tony alluded to taking a Mayflower van in the middle of the night and moving from one city to another. And, I saw the Baltimore Colts in 1958 play at the Yankee Stadium in an overtime NFL championship game. And now the Colts are in Indianapolis. I'm very confused. And I think the Colts are going to get the best of the Ravens here.
All right, Tony, are you confused with anything today?
It just threw me off talking about a 1958 NFL championship game.
I was 9 years old.
Wow, man. Okay, great.
Wow,
So
good
20.
for your age,
I'm not
Chip.
going to give your age away. I know how old I am, and I know how many more years that is. So, yeah, I feel like I'm old. But you look great, Chip. I'll be honest.
Absolutely. The hell are you
Well,
we don't call it night candy for nothing. Yeah, we don't call it
it's
night
clean.
candy.
It's clean living. It's clean living is what it's doing.
Okay. Hey, maybe
Well, then I'm in trouble.
I need to start practicing some of that clean living. That's for sure. I'm going to go with Arizona as my most interesting play. I think the stars align, my handicapping angles align. Everything kind of gets into that same groove where I just love this. I don't get these very often where I get every kind of angle that I like to calculate my picks in. Everything lines up. Jupiter, Mars, Venus, they all line up. We're going to take Arizona to the bank today. You can get your ticket. I feel confident you're going to be heading back to the window when this is over. Don't miss it. Arizona today.
All right. So Uranus is lined up as well, you're saying?
Exactly.
Oh, Lordy.
Hey, all right. All right, so my most interesting play of the day is going to be in that total in the Pittsburgh-Dallas game. It's a solid play, guys. I love it. I think we got some good numbers. You got Pittsburgh in a flat spot. You got Dallas in no offensive potential whatsoever. Cash the ticket on the Pittsburgh-Dallas game under today. Cash the ticket with Chip. Cash the ticket with Tony. And cash lots of tickets with us tomorrow because we'll be back with Brad Stein and the rest of the crew. And we'll also have a click to buy. So we're going to start offering you some good solid picks at some great fair prices so everybody can enjoy. So thanks for joining us again. Thank you, Tony and Chip, for coming at us with some great stuff here on a Sunday morning. Enjoy today's football games today, and we'll see you tomorrow on Bettor Center Live.